Over 20 years ago, I committed myself to a writer's life. I envisioned myself as a prolific playwright. All my plays were going to be produced at regional theaters around the country and off Broadway. I would be a huge success. And then one thing led to another, and I started writing novels. And I thought for sure that right around the corner, I would be published, a published author on the New York Times bestseller list, never thinking that over 20 years from that moment in time, I would still be unpublished. And here I am. There are no guarantees. And still, I write every single day with a maddening lack of urgency. How is that possible? Sometimes I don't even really know. Sometimes it's a slog. Sometimes I want to quit. A lot of times I want to quit. A lot of times I think there's no way in hell that this is ever going to happen. And why am I wasting my time? Why don't I just read books because I'm really good at that and nobody can tell me that I'm not. And yet I still persist. Why? The short answer, writing is the great work of my life. And the longer answer, it's not easy, but there isn't anything else I would rather be doing. And I show up because, well, what I have discovered is that that's part of who I am. I am a highly industrious person. I like the journey. I like to commit to a task and follow through. When I was an actress, my favorite part of the process was the rehearsal process. I mean, sure, I wanted to rehearse in order to get my work to a level that it was ready to be shared with an audience. I wanted to reach that level of excellence, to get to that point where I know I did my absolute best work and share that with the audience. But I didn't really care about performing. Like, the most exciting part for me was the rehearsal process. I could rehearse for years to keep peeling back the layers of the onion, to keep digging deep into the heart and soul of the character, to bring more nuance to the moment. That's who I am. And so, of course, a 20-year plus writing life is really just a walk in the park for me. That's one level. And yet it's not easy because there are doubts, and it's not easy to keep going in the face of rejection. And yet there are ways to help yourself. There are tools. Every author, writer has them. Little things that they do in order to keep themselves inspired and going and keep the muse happy and keep the energy flowing. And some people light candles and incense, and some people play music, and some people do morning pages. I am a firm believer in morning pages. I love them. Morning pages grease the wheel, right? They get you writing. It's that tactile motion that just frees up the mind and just lets you go anywhere, because there is absolutely no judgment, because nobody sees them and you don't even have to look at them again. It is just a way to warm up, kind of like a dancer. Stretches and plies and rond de jambes and all of those little things that get the body lubricated. But for me, morning pages isn't enough, because morning pages sometimes lead to a mind clog. You get really analytical and you get really caught up with the how and the why and the, oh, if I just do this and I just do that, and instead of just allowing the flow to continue, which is what the morning pages are there to do, right? To open the door so you can enter the pathway of flowing in your writing. They're essential. I wouldn't begin my day without them. There is something else that I do that is equally important, every single day, I do Tai Chi. Tai Chi is the other key to my patient and persistent writing life. Why? Why Tai Chi? Why Tai Chi? Like morning pages, it's something that I learned, and over the course of time, it rooted in my body in a way that is just part and parcel of who I am. How did this come about? Like almost everything in my writing life, let's jump back to my days in theater. I was struggling as an actress, struggling to have a consistent output in jobs, right? I wanted to go from one job to another, and it was not easy. And part of the problem was that I had an issue with my voice. I was told that although people loved to watch me move and they love to connect with the emotional truth of what I was saying, they couldn't stand to listen to me. Oops. And so I was connected to a vocal coach, Jessica Belts, who guided me in a relaxation, gentle hands on my body while I opened my mouth and let the sound resonate through my bones. And when I stood up, we had been working on the floor. And when I stood up, I felt as if I was 9 feet tall. And I had resonance in my chest. I had never felt resonance in my chest before. And I said, "What did you do to me?" And she said, "Well, I'm a vocal coach, and I'm also an Alexander teacher." Okay. So I studied Alexander technique, and it opened me emotionally, vocally, and physically that had never been accessed before. I was a different kind of actor because I was connected with my core as a human being. And so one thing led to another, and around the time that I decided I needed to commit to a writing life, I also decided to train as an Alexander teacher. And when I went into my training, one of the things that we learned was Tai Chi. Why? Because the Alexander technique is a means whereby you can free your body of the physical tension that restricts you emotionally, physically, even spiritually, okay? It opens up your body so that you can connect with your core and move with ease and joy and without obstacles. And in the first year of the training, you do not put hands on people. The first year of training is all about incorporating the principles of the Alexander technique with yourself. And Tai Chi was the tool to learn and apply those principles to our own use. When you do the Tai Chi form, it's all about being centered and grounded. Your feet are connected to the earth. The earth comes up to support you. And by surrendering to that support, your whole being opens. This is the exact same thing as Alexander technique. You surrender, you let go of all of the tension that keeps you up, up, up. I mean, look around. When you watch people, you see them walking. They are leaning forward. They are thrusting themselves this way, thrusting themselves that way. They are on their toes. They are, out of their heads. Nothing is about ease. It's all about the next thing or the next 5 things. They are never really present. And so the Tai Chi form, which is all about the whole foot on the floor, the heel first, and then your foot rolls through, and you move all the way into the left foot. Then you can lift the right. and put the heel down and roll through the foot. And all of the energy moves. It's a flow. It's support. It's an opening that allows you to be present with everything around you without losing yourself. What does this have to do with writing? Everything. One of my biggest obstacles as a writer was not being connected to my voice, because our issues are our issues. They come repeatedly at us in different ways. I didn't have a voice as an actor. I learned Alexander technique, I practiced Tai Chi, and my voice opened up, and I was able to access a whole new level of emotion and energy. And in writing, I could write. I could write a lot. I wrote one draft that was 832 pages. Thank you very much. I have no problems with putting words on the page, but what do they mean? What do they embody? What is their voice? What is the emotional truth behind them? That I was missing. And so once I started to think more about how to go inward, well, Tai Chi is the way. I begin every morning with Tai Chi. I write my morning pages, which is wonderful. It gives me a trust and a belief that the words will come. Wonderful. However, sometimes those ideas can start to spin, and those ideas can become complicated, and those ideas can end up blocking you. And so rather than allow my head to keep spinning, I go directly from the page to my Tai Chi. So I can just stand centered and I can breathe. Beautiful breath from deep in my belly. And then I begin. And as I accept the support of the earth, the floor, wherever I'm practicing the form, the more my body opens, the more thought is vanished and energy comes through, and energy flows through me, and energy releases, and I am open and ready to receive and be accessible to whatever my characters or my muse wishes to tell me. Sometimes when I'm writing during the day and things aren't going well and I just want to chuck the whole thing, I'll set my pages aside and I'll move out to the center of the floor and I'll just breathe and find my feet and allow my back to open and widen and my neck to free and move into the floor, move into the form. And by the time I'm done, by the time the energy of the universe has exchanged itself with my body and opened myself to attentive awareness, then I'm ready to return with an open heart and an open soul. And I'm ready to listen for the truth that needs to be placed on the page. If you've never done Tai Chi, why not give it a whirl? This is my Tai Chi Bible. Tai Chi, the supreme ultimate exercise for health, sport, and self-defense, by Chenmin Ching and Robert W. Smith. It's a beautiful guide to the form. It has full descriptions. It has the postures. It also has the foot placement, where the weight of the body needs to be. And it has this delicious fold out of the entire form as well. It is the only real guide to Tai Chi that you will ever need, and I highly recommend it. Tai Chi for your body, your mind, your soul, and your writing.